Okay, so I've got my plan and elevations coming together, and more importantly, I've set up some layouts in this file. So I've got those page setups, which of course are my layouts, that have the title blocks where I want them to be, and I want that to be consistent across all of the different pages that I'm going to make now, setting up for the assignment, so that you can easily then make one PDF file from this one or this single AutoCAD file. So what I want to do now is go and collect all the previous exercise work that I've done, and so I'm just going to go then and open some of those, and I've been saving them in different places, so I'll just open up some of the ones that I've got. And you can hold down Control with AutoCAD and open multiple files at once. And so there I've got a couple, exercise 2 and 3. I'll just open those. It's annoying, I keep restoring down. Okay, so now I want to combine, let's get exercise 3 because that's a bit more complete. So I want to combine that with my previous file, and it's really simple. I'm just going to select all of those objects, right click, and then choose on the clipboard menu, copy. Easy. And so then I'll go to my original file, and this will get you used to using the tabs if you're not doing that already. So those tabs there at the top show all the different files that I've got open. So I'm going to switch back to exercise 5B, go to the model tab, right click and go to the clipboard panel and simply choose paste, and then place that over to one side. Simple. Now, yeah, it's a lot easier. Yeah, so just because you can set up all the layouts, and that's the beauty of AutoCAD, because you've got that option of making layouts to set up your prints, you can have multiple drawings in the one file, and it works really well. So normally that option is going to work for you, but I'm going to show you another method, because sometimes that clipboard option in AutoCAD can get a bit buggy, and if it isn't working properly for you, there is another way of doing it. So another option is to do what you've also been doing already. You can go to Insert, and I'll go to More Options to get that Browse button there. And then I'm going to go and find some of my other exercise files that I've got somewhere. CAD for Interiors, where I've been saving them. I generally don't bother saving a lot of these things, but let's see, I do have them somewhere. Sorry. Just want to find one that I haven't seen yet. You can see how slack I am sometimes doing my own saving, but again, it's gone because I've done this 100 times, so I'll go back to an earlier one. That's probably that. Actually, I know where I've saved them. So in your folder, and in fact, I'll just get one of yours if I can't find mine. Now, so remind me what your grip number is. It's... Yep, that's right, yeah, thanks. Okay, so there we are. So I've got one there. And, okay, so I'm just going to click Open. And this is another great thing with AutoCAD. Because there's no blocks format, you can insert any other drawing, any other AutoCAD file into the AutoCAD file you're working in using that same option. And so I'm going to just tick that insertion point option so I can place it by specifying on screen or clicking a point. Then I click OK, and then I can just again put that to one side. So now I'm going to go ahead and make some new layouts to show these other floor plans. And so again, I've got one set up already with the title block and other things that I want on the page. So I want that set up again. I'm going to right click on that tab and go to Remove or Copy, and then tick Create a Copy down the bottom. I'll choose, in fact I'm going to choose Hotel Plans, because it puts the copy above the one you choose. So I want my new layout to go, to the left of that tab down the bottom there. So I'm going to click OK, and there you can see it's got a copy, an exact copy of my Hotel Plans layout. So I'm going to right click there and go to Rename. I'm going to call this, what was the first one called? It's not Boardroom, it's Is it a boardroom? The first one? Yep. Okay, so we'll call that boardroom. Boardroom plan. Sorry, caps. There we go. So it's got a new name, which just makes it clear what's on it, of course, and I'll delete one of those layouts. I only need one of them, and then just select the one that's left, and maybe I'll make that a bit bigger. Double click to go inside, and then I'm panning to move the view, but notice how the whole sheet moves. Have any of you noticed when that or why that would happen? Okay, it's because it's one of the options that you can set. So remember, you can set the scale for your viewport down here, and once you've done that, then often it's a good idea to lock it, and that's what I've done. So now, though, I'm going to unlock it, clicking on that padlock next to that scale option, and then now I can pan. So I'm just holding the wheel down to pan, and then bring it across so that I can see the plan that I want. But of course, so I actually want the next one. Yep, that one. Okay, so you can see there, of course, things are missing. And that's because there are layers frozen in this viewport. So by clicking on that little layer drop down, I can see the frozen layers in this viewport. So the electrical layer probably doesn't have much on it, but the furniture layer is the one that does. Yep, there we are. So that's it. And maybe, now you can see, because I inserted this one as a block, it's all still combined as one object. So I'm simply going to explode that. While it's selected, you've got the explode button there, and then I can get rid of that thing that I don't want. And that shows you that you can easily work in the viewport if you haven't tried that already, and it's just like you're drawing on the model tab. So it's gone from there as well. So that way you can have all of the layouts in one file, and then I'm going to show you then to make your PDFs, there is an option to batch plot. In other words, to print all of the layouts in one step, but it's much easier to just set up one page first, and then if you've got that working, try batch plotting after that. So I'm just going to go straight to here, print, and then choose plot. Plot in AutoCAD language just means print. I don't know why they don't just change it to print. And here you'll get this option again. They're trying to encourage you to use batch plotting, but I'm going to ignore that and just choose the option at the bottom, continue to plot a single sheet. And we've already got it set up on DWG to PDF, which is a good option. If you've got the Adobe CC suite, you'll have Adobe PDF as well, but DWG to PDF is good. And check all the other print options there. So we've got the page size, the layout option there, and you'll have most of that set up. That's the advantage of setting up the page in advance. Most of the print setup's already done. Got monochrome set for the plot style. I'm still in the habit of checking the preview, just to make doubly sure that it's all how I want it to be. So they're zooming in. It's a good chance to have a look at the line weights, and you can see that that's all nicely set up and probably looks better than the original ones that you were given. So I'm happy with that. And so once that's done, I'll click OK. And then choose where that file's going to go. And give the file a name. So I'm going to call this exercise, exercise 2, boardroom plan. Perfect. And click save. And that'll then open up the PDF file. So then I might just repeat that for another plan. So again, I'm going to right click on that tab, move or copy, choose the one I want it to go above, tick create a copy, click OK, go to the next tab, double click, and this one is a conference room, I think. I always forget what the names of these things are, or maybe it's a classroom, doesn't really matter. You're the last class I'll ever do these exercises. I'm redoing all of them, and it's going to make them a bit more, have a bit more design in there. So let's call it classroom. plan, that'll do. Again, double click to go into the viewport, and I'll pan to get the next floor plan in there. Done. On the main menu, print, continue, and that's all set up. But again, I'm going to hit preview just to make doubly sure it's working, and escape to get out of it works, and then OK, and then I'll just again change that first bit to exercise 3. Not that these file names really matter because we're going to combine them all anyway, but always helps just to make it clear. And so I'll close that one as well, close the next one. Now, if you know Acrobat, you'd know that you can combine different files from within the program, but it's probably easier in most cases to just go out of it, find the files that you want to combine, and then select them with Control. So holding down the Control key, you can just click on multiple PDF files, right click, and then you get the option to combine files in Acrobat, and then you get that big combine button at the top, and those are now combined into the one file. I'm just going to say no to that. Right, so there we are, just clicking between the 2 pages there, and then I can just go Save As, and give it a name, and that's all I have to do to make the file for your assignment. Next week. Yeah, on the day is fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's it, and so that should give you enough to create that PDF file you've got to upload. Should be a pretty small file. Yeah, so don't forget you could put exercise 1 in there, but I'm not really going to look too much at that. I'm more worried about the way the plans look and that you've got the right line weights and the right architectural graphics. And don't forget the annotation, so all the text and the dimensions need to be there, and correct scale. That should do it. And oh yeah, so don't worry if it doesn't look exactly like the one you're issued. You can probably make it look better than that. And again, if you're using a different title block and a different north point, that's probably a good thing. I can't think of anything else except tables. Now, so tables, one thing that I often avoid because I just don't really like the table tool in AutoCAD. I'm happy to show it to you, but to do that drawing for the, where was it again? I'll just get it off Moodle. So the exercise 5 drawings, I think, have a table for that hotel room. Here we go. Okay, so to do that finisher schedule, have any of you tried using the table tool to get that to work? It'll work, but you can always just draw text and then put lines around it. And that's actually what I do, to be honest, because it's easier to edit and copy chunks of text if they're just single text objects. When it's a table, because AutoCAD tables don't have all the options that Excel and programs like that have, it's pretty fiddly. So if you need to copy, say, a whole row of text down to the next row, it's just a painful thing. And it shouldn't be that hard, but again, the AutoCAD table tool is a bit limited. It's still probably a good thing to practice with because you might go to an office where they use it. So try it out. The table tool, you can see there, it's on the annotation panel, and it's fairly straightforward. So if you've got a text style setup, it should use that, and I'm not even going to choose any different options here. I'm just going to click OK, and you can see that I've got a table coming up automatically, and you'll see you can customize the number of columns and rows. So maybe I'll press Escape there and just go back one step, and then again click on the table button, and then you've got the columns option there, because the one that we saw, in Moodle. Okay, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, yep. And so that's really all you need to think about. The number of rows doesn't matter because you can adjust that. And so again, I'll just click OK, place my table. It wants me to type in a header, and I'll just put in something, finishes, schedule. And then when you press enter, it goes down to the next row, which is the headings. And so I'll just put something in there, so code, and then room would be the next one. So the code, let's put a number in there. Yeah. Okay, so once you've made the table, then you can use grips and adjust those column widths, and again, it's good just to get a little bit of familiarity with it. But as I said, I don't really use it very much myself, because I know that I can do it quicker just by drawing lines and text. And if I've got to do anything advanced with a table, I'll do it in Excel anyway. Also, the other thing is getting the text height set in a table works a bit differently to other things, but if you want to set it up in advance, you've got to go and look at the way your annotative styles are working. But if you make it just like I have there, and just let it set whatever height, you can then come back to it, and when you double click, you can easily just change the height up on the ribbon there. So maybe it's got to come down to about 3 to fit, and that should work if I just give it a couple of goes. Oh, it's been painful. Don't like AutoCAD tables. There we go. So again, there we are, so that's working. And again, it's a bit clunky, and so maybe this can be 2, just so you can see it fitting a bit better. You can see how slow it is, having to double click on each one, and then even then I'm getting bumped out of it every time. There we go, 2, there we are. And, oh yeah, and then doing your row heights, it's just a painful thing. There we are, so you've got to go and do it all manually. And it takes a long time, and then you think, well, again, what's it really doing for me when I could just go and draw some text? So if I do some multi-line text, I've got the heights already set up there. I'll just choose the one I want, and let's put in, say, code, copy it, draw some lines. No one else will know that this wasn't made with the table tool. It's going to look just like a table. I know it seems old-fashioned, but it does the job. And then to copy the text down, again, I can just copy, copy, copy. It's much easier. So that's what I'd do if I was you, and then draw lines across. And AutoCAD, it's got such great drawing tools that you find that's going to be much faster. And you can space it evenly. I've done it very roughly there, but you can easily make that have a perfectly even spacing. And just type in 10 there. And then I can easily move all those things and put them where I want to be. And if I want to change all of these text objects as a group, much easier. Selecting them all because they're separate bits of text, but in properties I can then say, right, I want it to be 3 mil. If that was a table, I'd have to go and select each cell and do them one by one, usually. And that's a pretty tedious thing, I find. So again, that's what I'd be doing if I was you. Yeah, there is a way. You've got to know a bit of programming though. Yeah, or SQL, and there are some tricks, but generally to get Excel linked into a table in AutoCAD is pretty fiddly. Yeah, but again, if you know that you've got to use Excel to do your tables, and often you will, because if you've got to do budgets and calculations and things like that, which you do all the time, do it in Excel and then put your layouts together in InDesign, and just combine your AutoCAD drawings as a PDF with things you do in InDesign, and insert your Excel spreadsheets into your InDesign layouts. So, yeah, hopefully that'll give you enough to finish it off. And here, one last thing. I've done my table on the wrong page, but I'm just going to go to finish off there, right-click on Clipboard, go to Cut, and then I'll go to my correct page, right-click, go to Clipboard, and then I can just paste it in there and try and make it fit. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because it's too big, but I can move my plans over now. Make the viewports maybe a bit smaller. And just move them across. And then I should have room. And so I can't help myself now. I'm going to have to copy some more lines, just so I can show you how to get even spacing. So now I've got the spacing that I want. Maybe that's a little bit big, so I'll just bring that up a little bit. So maybe that's the spacing I want for these cells under the headings. And so then I'll select, in fact I'll show you a good trick there. I'm going to go to the properties, and you can see then we've got the contents, and I can change them all as a group. So that's sorry, multi-line text. So I'm thinking of single-line text. So multi-line text, we'd have to do that one by one. So I won't show you that. But what I will show you is that you can copy now with a base point on the end of that line above, and then come down and click onto the line that I'm copying, and then really easily get even spacing for all the cells below, and then of course use all the other drawing tools like trim just to tone that up. There we go. So hope that should give you all the main things that you need to be able to do to finish it off. But let me know if there's anything else that I've missed that you've been thinking about, or any other questions. No? Yep, perfect. Good.